Jason became a billionaire, and the news about his long-lost son spread like wildfire, reaching the entire school. I didn't expect that our classmate is actually the son of a billionaire. Now the person who regrets the most must be his ex-girlfriend, right? I heard Jason's ex-girlfriend is a gold digger, she dumped him for an old man with money, now she must be regretting it. Gossip buzzed around me, and the mocking glances were thrown my way. Yes, I am Jason's ex-girlfriend. Yes, I was the one who broke up with him, and yes, it was a rich old man who didn't want me to be with him. But that rich old man is my dad, my real dad. My dad taught me to be low-key and not flaunt wealth, so I kept my family background a secret while in college. Jason didn't come from a wealthy family, his monthly allowance was only 500 yuan. I often saw him going hungry, so I would give him my living allowance, and over time, he got used to it and started expecting me to give him money, even manipulating me emotionally. Baby, we don't need to separate you and me, I'll transfer all my living allowance to you every month, you handle the money. After we graduate, I'll even give you my salary card. Baby, my shoes are worn out, can you take some money from our little savings and buy me a new pair? They're not expensive, just over 2,000 yuan. My phone's so laggy, it's hard to send you messages, how about you take some money from our little savings and buy me a new phone? I was so immersed in love that I didn't notice anything was wrong. Until one day, I was at home, casting TV onto the screen from my phone, and Jason's message popped up, which my dad saw. He immediately told me to break up with Jason, or he would cut off my living allowance. Reluctantly, I had to break up with him. But a few days later, Jason officially announced his new girlfriend on his social media, my deskmate. At that moment, my deskmate, Sasha, was surrounded by several people. Sasha, you're so lucky, Jason is a rich second generation now, you're about to marry into a wealthy family. Yeah, I heard that Jason's dad gave him 3 houses. You two won't even need to work after graduation, you can just go back and inherit the family fortune. Sasha's got good luck, she knows how to pick them, unlike some people who dump Jason just because he was poor. Now she must be regretting it, huh? I lowered my head and scrolled through my phone, too lazy to argue with them. After all, my dad's wealth is several times greater than that billionaire's. Oh, no, you guys are wrong. Look at her, she's doing quite well now, she can even afford brand-name bags. Sasha said as her eyes greedily fixated on the Chanel bag I had placed on the table. Her sidekick, Jane, immediately chimed in, this is obviously a fake. Those old men like to keep ignorant college girls as their mistresses, one fake bag and they're in bed with them, TSK TSK. The mocking words made my patience run out, and I stood up and yelled, who are you talking about? Who do you think I'm talking about? Everyone knows you're being kept by an old man. What, you're a slut and still want to set yourself up as virtuous? How do you know I'm being kept by an old man? Did you install a monitor on me, or did you sneak into my bed to see for yourself? How can you be so sure? Jane glared at me, pushing Sasha in confusion. Sasha stood up and looked at me disdainfully. Jason told me himself, he saw you getting into an old man's luxury car at the back gate of the school. That same night, you broke up with him. I laughed. I was afraid my dad's car would be seen by my classmates, so I asked him to wait for me at the back gate. I didn't expect Jason to see it. But instead of asking me directly, he just slapped a huge label on me. Jason, you really know how to stir things up. Well, you have nothing to say now, right? I should thank you for breaking up with Jason, or else I wouldn't have the chance to marry into a wealthy family. Sasha said, grinning smugly. Her sidekick, Jane, also started to act proud. Sasha, you really have a sharp eye. Did you already know Jason was extraordinary? Sasha lifted her chin in pride, smiling. Jason's shoes cost over 2,000 yuan, and his phone is the latest model. Most people can't afford them, right? But I don't care about his background, it's his personality that attracted me. I nearly choked. I spat in my mind. Oh, dear, the shoes and phone Jason wears were bought with my living allowance. Are you sure you're interested in him and not in me? Maybe you should reconsider. I couldn't help but laugh. Sasha's face turned slightly red in embarrassment, and she shot me a glare. What does it matter if you bought them? I'll have Jason pay you back. That small amount of money is nothing to worry about. I made a please gesture with my hand. Under the pressure of my gaze, Sasha reluctantly picked up her phone and sent Jason a sweet voice message. Darling, Penelope says you bought your shoes and phone with her money, and now she wants you to pay her back. A few minutes later, I received a transfer from Jason, 50,000 yuan. Including the previous money I spent on him, there was even a little extra. I considered it the interest. I happily accepted it. Jason said he'll be back tonight, and he wants to invite the classmates to Xianghe restaurant for dinner. Sasha excitedly announced, looking at her phone. Really? That's great. Jason is so generous. The surrounding classmates began to join in the excitement. Sasha shot me a cold glance. Some people shouldn't go, it would be awkward. Right, but Sasha, do you think Jason might propose in public? Jane giggled as she wrapped her arm around Sasha. I didn't even want to go. After all, a restaurant with a 100 yuan per person average is no comparison to an omakase with a 5,000 yuan per person average. While enjoying my meal in peace, I received a message from Jason. Are you there? Can you transfer the 50,000 yuan back to me? I need it urgently. I'll pay you back 60,000 yuan in a few days. I ignored it and set my phone to Do Not Disturb. Nothing should spoil my mood while enjoying good food. After eating, I took a walk back to school. As I passed by the Xianghe restaurant, I saw Sasha walking out with a dark face. Jason quickly followed her, and they seemed to be arguing, walking ahead without noticing me. Jason, does your father even have money? Why did he only give you 60,000 yuan? You gave Penelope 50,000, and now you only have 10,000 left, and still have the nerve to treat everyone to dinner? If it weren't for me borrowing money online, we wouldn't have been able to leave the restaurant. Hearing Sasha's words, I immediately got excited and started following them, eagerly listening in. My dad said the 60,000 yuan was a lucky number, all right? And he already gave me the keys to his house. No way, that's fake. He even said he's sending the BMW from home to me tomorrow for use. Jason was still drawing a pretty picture. Now that I've stepped back, I realize I was really foolish back then. Fortunately, my dad found out about everything, otherwise, I'd be the one paying now. While I was eavesdropping, Sasha turned around and saw me behind them, immediately giving Jason a signal. Jason then walked up to me with his hands in his pockets, looking displeased. Penelope, why didn't you reply to my message? I was just temporarily borrowing the money, didn't expect you to be so stingy. Sasha stepped forward, affectionately wrapping her arm around Jason. Baby, I think she's just scared of being poor. After all, 50,000 yuan is 2 years of her living expenses. I nodded repeatedly. Yes, you two are so rich, why not send me another 50,000 to show off your wealth? You. Never seen someone so shameless. Jason's dad is a billionaire, do you know what that means? Do you really think we're short of that little money? Sasha looked at me with disdain and rolled her eyes several times. Jason also showed an expression of disgust and smugly wrapped his arm around Sasha's waist. My eyebrows furrowed in annoyance, and just as I was about to retort, a car honked from the side of the road. I turned my head and saw the rear window of the car come down. When I saw who was inside, I immediately got into the car. Dad. What are you doing here? My dad was glaring at them through the rearview mirror, asking what had happened. I explained everything to him in detail, complaining bitterly in his arms. 3 houses? That's nothing. I'll get you an entire building. That'll be your birthday gift this year. I'll have Andrew take you to handle the paperwork tomorrow. Hearing my dad's words, the unhappiness in my heart immediately disappeared. The next day, I specifically took the day off to handle the paperwork. The next afternoon, on the way back to school with Andrew, I happened to scroll through my social media and saw Sasha's post. There was a 9-photo grid of selfies of her and Jason in a BMW. The caption read, "My husband's car is so comfortable." I clicked on the photo to enlarge it and noticed the car didn't look like a new one. I casually sent the car's license plate number to my dad's assistant, asking him to check it out. Soon, the assistant replied, "This car is from a rental agency, and it was rented for just 1 day." What? Jason is a rich second generation now, and yet he's still renting a car to show off? I, ever the troublemaker, left a comment on Sasha's post, "Make sure you return the car on time tomorrow." Soon, Sasha replied with a few question marks. About half an hour later, she deleted the post. A few minutes later, she posted again, "My deskmate didn't even want to go to class today, just took the shortcut, hee hee." Below the caption was a photo of me getting into my dad's car from last night. It seemed Sasha had taken the picture, and she even managed to capture my dad's side as well. She then added a comment under the photo, "That old man looks like he's in his 60s, he even has an old man smell, right? My deskmate really has a good appetite, TSK TSK." I stormed into the classroom in fury. As soon as I entered, Sasha couldn't wait to start mocking me. TSK TSK, some people just don't know when to stop, becoming an old man's lover. I marched up to her, furious, and yelled, "I warn you, Sasha, stop talking nonsense. That old man is my father. Delete that post now." I struggled to suppress my anger as I explained. When I said that, she laughed even louder, looking me up and down with contempt. "Oh yes, yes, a godfather is still a father, right?" I clenched my fists, my entire body trembling uncontrollably. My mind was at war, with a demon and an angel arguing fiercely. The demon urged me to walk up to Sasha, slap her twice, and tear her mouth apart. The angel urged me to stay calm and think of the consequences. "Sasha, you can eat whatever you want, but don't say whatever comes to your mind." Just as I was about to retort, a cold voice came from behind me. "Have you checked her household register? How can you be so sure it's not her father? Isn't it inappropriate to speak without verification? Penelope is wearing clothes that are not major brands, but rather a niche custom brand. Coincidentally, my sister is a designer, and even the cheapest piece costs at least 5 figures. As soon as these words were said, all the classmates turned to look at the clothes I was wearing, and then at Leo. It was only then that I realized Leo's clothes had the same logo as mine. That was my favorite brand, and I didn't expect the designer to be Leo's Elena. Pfft, who's going to believe that? "Leo, are you defending Penelope? Do you like her?" Leo raised his head and looked at Jane with an icy glare, as if he could kill her in the next second. Sasha immediately became the peacemaker, pulling Jane's hand and saying, "Okay, stop. Let's go to class." As the teacher entered the classroom, all the noise instantly quieted. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself. It was Friday. On my way back, I saw Jason riding a shared bike near the entrance of a villa area. He was frowning and talking to the security guard. I had a bad feeling and signaled the driver to stop. Upon closer inspection, I realized this villa area was the retirement community my dad had planned. He had said the houses there were never for sale, only for rent. Soon, someone came out to meet Jason and led him inside. I quickly took a photo of the two of them. When I got home, I showed the photos to my mom and asked about the villa area. I found out that the person there was Jason's billionaire father. They only rented it for a month. It was a favor from Aunt Lynn next door. She said their son is sick and sold their house to go abroad for treatment, so they rented a place for a month until the paperwork is completed. Why do you ask about this? I was shocked and explained, Mom, haven't you seen the news? They're claiming to be billionaires and recently found their long-lost son. Guess what? That long-lost son is my classmate. Fortunately, my mom didn't know about Jason and me, or she would have been furious. My mom paused for a moment before laughing. Billionaires? That's all just for show. It was Aunt Lynn who planned it all. Your classmate is a bastard. Their son is sick and needs a bone marrow transplant, so they went through all this trouble to find this illegitimate child. You see, the billionaire label works wonders. They found him in just a few days. I was stunned. So that's what happened. Jason, Sasha, let's see how long you can keep showing off. In the following time, Sasha and Jason would occasionally show up in front of me, mocking and insulting me. I just treated it as watching a circus. It's not that I'm not getting revenge, the right time hasn't come. A month later, Sasha and Jason cornered me in my dorm. I lived in the school's apartment-style dorm, one room shared by 2 people. Nancy had just left when I heard a knock at the door. I thought my roommate forgot her keys, so I opened the door. But unexpectedly, Sasha and Jason barged in and quickly shut the door behind them. I was startled. How did Jason get into the female dorm? Didn't the downstairs dormitory manager see him? Penelope, the 50,000 yuan Jason sent you before, give it back. Sasha demanded. I quickly calculated. It must be the time for her to repay her online loan. I pretended to be surprised and looked at them. Really? Jason is the son of a billionaire. You 2 ran all the way to my dorm for just a few thousand yuan? Has Jason's family gone bankrupt? Jason's eyes flickered and he looked awkward. Sasha frowned, her expression serious. We've calculated it. Jason's total expenses haven't exceeded 50,000 yuan. The things he bought add up to about 30,000 yuan, and he's been giving you 500 yuan a month for living expenses. We don't want to take advantage of you. Let's make it a round number. You only need to pay back 20,000 yuan. Sasha spoke, while Jason nodded in agreement. These 2 had such scheming faces, they were perfectly matched. Is that so? Then I'll calculate it carefully. I took out a pen and notebook from the desk and started adding everything up. We went out for dinner and movies, all shared evenly, so no one loses. The total for meals and drinks is 17,000 yuan, so after splitting, each of you owes 8,500 yuan. The total for meals and drinks is 17,000 yuan, so after splitting, each of you owes 8,500 yuan. The things he bought and his living expenses deducted, there's still 220 yuan left. Let me help you too with the math, 200. The 2 of them seemed to not believe it and checked the account 3 times before finally stopping. Sasha glared at Jason. Jason scratched his head awkwardly, his face full of embarrassment as he muttered, who would have known she's so stingy, even when it comes to splitting the bill for meals? Humph. Sasha angrily turned and left the dorm. After they left, I went downstairs to complain to the dormitory manager. The manager said that the reason Jason was allowed into the girls' dorm was because Sasha had claimed she was helping him carry things. I told her that they had barged into my room, and the dorm manager was horrified. She promised that no one would be allowed into the dorm without proper reason in the future and begged me not to report it to the school, or she might lose her job. Fortunately, nothing else happened between me and them that day. I decided to let it go and also gave the dorm manager a little warning. Fearing that they might cause more trouble for me, I planned to go home for the night and called Andrew to pick me up. While packing my things in the dorm, my roommate Nancy returned and immediately started gossiping about Sasha and Jason. Sasha and Jason seemed to owe a lot of money. Students who were close to them have all received threatening messages about their debts. Especially Sasha's sidekick, Jane. The debt collectors called, and they ended up yelling at her until she cried. I heard the luxury goods that Jason bought for Sasha were all on loan, and since Jason can't pay back, he made Sasha sell those items. But even after selling them, it seems like it's still not enough to pay off their debts. I couldn't help but laugh. The retribution seemed to come pretty quickly. Jason has a billionaire dad, though? how did he fall so low? But students are saying that the billionaire claim might be fake. I shook my head, smiling. I don't know anything about that. By the way, I'm going home tonight, so make sure to lock the windows and doors tightly. Andrew called to say he was waiting for me at the back gate of the school. I grabbed my bag and walked toward the back gate. As I neared the car, I saw a familiar figure. Wasn't that Sasha standing next to my car? What was she doing there? I quickened my pace and approached. Upon seeing me, Sasha quickly turned and walked away. Andrew immediately opened the car door for me as I approached. Once in the car, I curiously asked Andrew, "Andrew, was that classmate talking to you just now?" "Yes, she said I look like one of her relatives," Andrew replied. What was Sasha up to? Was she trying to probe into my family background? Andrew, my dad told me to keep a low profile at school and not let anyone know about our family situation. So, if anyone asks, please be discreet. I understand, young lady, Andrew said, nodding. I gave a slight nod in response and didn't mention it again. For the next few days, neither Sasha nor Jason showed up at school. The students couldn't help but ask Jane for information. Sasha hasn't been to class in days. You're her best friend, right? Do you know where she went? Could it be that Jason took her on an overseas trip? Jason hasn't been in class for several days either. Jane looked pretty bad, with dark circles under her eyes, and muttered bitterly, "Who knows where they went?" Stop asking me. I don't know anything. At that moment, Jane's phone rang. It was an unknown number. She quickly glanced at the screen and hung up. Then, she angrily powered off her phone. What's up, Jane? Your phone's been ringing non-stop these days. I heard that Sasha owes money, and her contacts got leaked. Did it get to you too? Sasha owes money? How could that be? Isn't Jason the son of a billionaire? He even bought her luxury bags. How could they possibly owe money? Once the gossip started, it was hard to stop. Classmates were chattering back and forth. After being harassed by debt collectors for a few days, Jane finally couldn't hold it in anymore and burst into tears. Scam. Jason is such a big liar. Jane spilled the beans about how Jason bought the luxury goods on loan, and how the two of them had disappeared for days to hide from the debt collectors who were coming to school to find them. The classmates were stunned upon hearing this. I figured that Jason's vanity had gotten the best of him. His billionaire father had painted a beautiful picture for him, but the truth was, his dad had only given him 60,000 yuan the first time they met and then came up with excuses not to give him any more. The house keys Jason had shown were probably fake, since they had sold their house. Jason had hoped that his wealthy father would always back him up, so he borrowed money to live beyond his means. But now, his lies were starting to fall apart. Just as I was enjoying the gossip, a long hand waved in front of me. I snapped out of my thoughts and looked up. It was Leo. My sister gave me a few VIP tickets to her new product launch. I see you like her designs. Want to check it out? Although we were in the same class, it was the first time Leo and I spoke so closely. From this angle, I noticed that his jawline looked quite sharp. His voice was calm and strong, exuding the air of a gentleman. Sure. I nodded and accepted the VIP tickets, checking the time for next Saturday. A few days later, Sasha showed up again. Dressed in a tight-fitting dress and strutting in 10 centimeters high heels, Sasha walked into the classroom, her hair styled in large waves. The most eye-catching thing was her bright golden necklace. Wow, Sasha, you've really made it. Buying such a chunky gold necklace, one classmate teased. This must be Jason's proposal gift to you, right? Sasha flicked her hair dismissively. I've broken up with Jason. Don't ever mention him in front of me again. As Sasha sat down next to me, a strong fragrance of perfume hit me, making me instinctively cover my nose. Jane, seeing Sasha's sudden wealth, rushed over to her. Sasha, where have you been these past few days? I sent you messages, but you didn't reply. How did everything go? I didn't even dare turn on my phone. Sasha took a small bracelet from her bag and handed it to Jane. It's all Jason's fault. He really ruined my life. But thank goodness, now, hey. I was too embarrassed before, so here's this bracelet as a token of apology. When Jane saw the bracelet, her eyes practically popped out. This looks like the new collection from Pandora. This must be pretty expensive, huh? Sasha laughed, flicking her hair again. Oh, it's nothing. Now, well, I'm not short of money anymore. Jane, curious, pressed further, did Jason's dad send him some money? I told you, I broke up with him. Don't bring him up, it's bad luck. Sasha frowned, and Jane, seeing this, didn't dare ask more. It seemed like Sasha was becoming a big shot, but something didn't feel right. The perfume smelled cheap, and the bracelet she gave Jane looked like a high-quality knockoff. Upon closer inspection, her gold necklace didn't shine quite right either. Why are you staring at me? Sasha noticed me looking and shot me an angry glare. I quickly shifted my gaze, scrolling through my phone out of boredom. Sasha's voice suddenly broke the silence. Some people really shouldn't get too cocky. They'll lose everything soon enough. I turned to her. Are you talking to me? Sasha's lips curled into a smug smile as she coldly sneered, what if I am? Do you really think you're that great? I'll take everything you have soon, and then don't come crying to me. I was completely confused. Are you out of your mind? You're the one who's crazy. Sasha snapped. Don't be so arrogant, Penelope. Just wait. She rolled her eyes and turned away. I couldn't make sense of what she was saying. Was she planning to take everything from me? Was she out of her mind? After class, I called Andrew to pick me up at the back gate like usual. But my stomach hurt a bit, so I decided to go to the bathroom before heading out. I texted Andrew to wait a little longer. A moment later, Andrew messaged me saying there was an urgent matter at home and that he had to leave. I told him not to worry and just go home. Since the back gate was inconvenient for taxis, I decided to walk to the front gate. As I reached the entrance of the school, I saw my family's car parked there. Wasn't Andrew supposed to be dealing with a family matter? Why was he here? I had told him to wait at the back gate. Just as I was about to approach, Sasha quickly walked past me and opened the passenger side door, getting into the car. She rolled down the window, shot me a victorious glance, and then leaned over to kiss Andrew in the driver's seat. Andrew didn't even seem to notice me, lost in the moment as they kissed. What the hell? This was eye-achingly awkward. I swiftly snapped a few photos on my phone. That evening, when Andrew brought the car back, I invited him inside. Once we were inside, I handed him my phone. Andrew, take a look at this. He saw the photos, and his face immediately turned pale. Sweat broke out on his forehead. In the next second, he suddenly knelt down in front of me. Miss, I'm so sorry. I let my desires get the best of me. Please, don't tell the boss. I swear I won't use the car for personal matters again. Please, I beg you. I chuckled and looked at him. Tell me everything about you and Sasha. After a long talk, I learned that Andrew hadn't told Sasha who I was, nor had he revealed that he was just a driver. After all, how could a handsome college girl not tempt him? After just meeting her twice, they were already together. He knew Sasha was materialistic, so he bought her fake jewelry and cheap perfume. I told Andrew I wouldn't tell my father, but he had to do things my way. Andrew, eager to keep his job, agreed. The next day, when I entered the classroom, I found a crowd gathered at the door. As I pushed my way through, I saw Jason and Sasha having an intense argument. Slap. Jason slapped Sasha across the face, shouting at her. How can you be so shameless? Haven't I treated you well enough? Why did you betray me? Not only did you betray me, but now you're with some old man. You really disgust me. All the money I've spent on you, you'd better pay it back, or this will never be over. Jason tightly grabbed Sasha's arm, preventing her from leaving. Sasha struggled, but couldn't break free, so she bit him hard. When Jason was about to attack, Sasha quickly grabbed a chair and threatened. Come at me, and I'll smash this over your head. You liar, how dare you talk about me? What billionaire dad? You've borrowed all that money and still can't pay it back. Are you a bastard child or what? They never cared about you. You've never even lived in that big house. Stop showing off. You have no money, and you're pretending to be rich. I broke up with you to escape hell. Whoever dates you is doomed. At this, the students around us started murmuring and gossiping. Jason, unable to save face, stormed out of the classroom after shouting, "You short-sighted woman. My dad gave me the keys to 3 houses. His inheritance will eventually all be mine. Don't say I didn't warn you." After throwing down his harsh words, Jason left the classroom in a huff. Sasha, her clothes torn and hair in disarray, angrily sat down to fix herself up while sending a voice message to Andrew, trying to win him over. Darling, Jason came and bullied me again. He said so many horrible things in front of everyone. You have to stand up for me. You've been keeping your identity a secret from me, but I already know. I saw your business card in the car. You're the CEO of Chuanglin International, right? Can you send a few bodyguards to protect me at school? I couldn't help but feel my skin crawl as I listened. Chuanglin International was indeed my family's company. But it was only a small subsidiary that was temporarily under Andrew's name. I quickly texted Andrew. A moment later, I saw the smile on Sasha's face. She turned around and started bragging to Jane. Jane, my boyfriend said he'll send bodyguards to protect me this afternoon. Jane immediately gave her an envious look. True to Andrew's word, he did show up with bodyguards in the afternoon. I told him to wait for me at the school gate. It was time to put an end to these rumors. It was Friday, and the campus was packed with students. Andrew and the bodyguards arrived early. I watched as Sasha strutted toward Andrew's car, her steps quick as if she were walking on air. But as she got closer, the bodyguards blocked her path. Do you need something? Do you know who I am? Move out of the way. The bodyguard, wearing sunglasses, remained indifferent. Sasha fumed and glared at Andrew, her eyes full of resentment. Darling, what's going on? Don't they know I asked you to bring them here? Andrew, looking uncomfortable, kept his head lowered until he saw me walking over. He immediately walked to the car door and opened it respectfully. Miss, please get in the car. Sasha turned around and froze when she saw me. I walked past her and got into the car. She tried to follow, but the security guard grabbed her. Penelope, you little bitch. What kind of magic did you put on Andrew? How dare you steal my man? Andrew raised his hand and slapped her across the face. Sasha, what are you talking about? Penelope is the daughter of my boss. If you keep running your mouth, I'll tear your mouth off. Sasha stood there in shock for several seconds, processing what Andrew had said. By the time she came to her senses, the car had already driven off. In the rearview mirror, I saw her collapse to the ground, crying uncontrollably. News of what happened spread to my parents' ears. My dad was furious and revealed my true identity publicly. Now, the entire school knew I was a real-life heiress. As a result, Andrew was sent to work as a low-level employee at the subsidiary. My mom insisted I go abroad to study, so I couldn't continue my education in the country. At this point, I couldn't argue, I had no choice but to comply. With my identity exposed, life at school became a lot more complicated. On Saturday, the new fashion show was just around the corner. I got ready and had the driver take me to the venue. I thought it would be a small event, but to my surprise, there were a lot of celebrities in attendance. I walked in with my VIP ticket and found my seat in the best spot, front row. Just as I was wondering who would sit next to me, Leo appeared and sat down beside me. I almost didn't recognize him. Today, he looked incredibly stylish, his hair all styled up like a young idol from the entertainment industry. My sister insisted on giving me this new look, Leo said, looking a bit awkward. Do I look weird? I shook my head vigorously. No, you look great. You should dress like this every day. It would be such a treat to see you looking so good, though I'm afraid I won't see it much longer. What do you mean? Leo leaned closer to hear me better since the music was loud. I shook my head and gestured for him to focus on the show. The fashion show was amazing, and I took tons of photos to review later. After the show ended, Leo took me backstage to meet his sister. Penelope, this is my sister Elena. My sister has some outfits that would look perfect on you. Can I send a few pieces to you? I was about to offer to pay, but Leo insisted, not allowing me to. Elena, Leo's sister, smiled and led us to a rack of clothes to pick out a few items. By the time I got home in the evening, I was trying on the new outfits in my room, feeling excited. My mom knocked on the door and came in, eyeing me suspiciously from head to toe. I shook my head and gestured for him to focus on the show. The fashion show was amazing, and I took tons of photos to review later. After the show ended, Leo took me backstage to meet his sister. Penelope, this is my sister Elena. My sister has some outfits that would look perfect on you. Can I send a few pieces to you? I was about to offer to pay, but Leo insisted, not allowing me to. Elena, Leo's sister, smiled and led us to a rack of clothes to pick out a few items. By the time I got home in the evening, I was trying on the new outfits in my room, feeling excited. My mom knocked on the door and came in, eyeing me suspiciously from head to toe. Are you in a relationship? I looked at her, confused. Then I nodded, yes, with. My mom gave me a side eye and placed her phone in front of me. This guy is Leo, right? I can't believe how much he's changed. How did you two meet? My mom had opened a news website, and there was a photo from today's fashion show, clearly showing me and Leo together. Mom, how do you know Leo? I asked curiously. You remember Liam, right? He's an old friend of your dad's. When you were little, he brought Leo over to our house to play, don't you remember? After they made a fortune from the demolition compensation, they moved away. I only saw Leo's photos on Liam's WeChat moments. I felt a little embarrassed and explained to my mom, before going back to organizing my things. On the day I was leaving for studying abroad, I hesitated whether to message Leo, but after thinking it over, I realized we weren't close enough for that. Instead, I posted a photo of my plane on my WeChat moments. A month later, during a casual chat with my mom, I learned more about Jason's situation. It turned out that when Jason's father had used his billionaire status to track him down, he knew that Jason's circumstances were poor. He had intentionally tempted him with money, planning to gradually manipulate him into agreeing to donate his bone marrow for his half-brother. However, Jason's vanity was too much. After finding out he was adopted, he immediately started demanding money. His father, fearing time was running out, eventually confronted Jason about the bone marrow donation. To his surprise, Jason rejected it outright. Furious, his father demanded Jason pay back the 60,000 yuan he owed, but Jason didn't have the money, and he had racked up a significant debt. In desperation, Jason went back to his biological father, agreeing to donate his bone marrow on the condition that his father help pay off his debts. His father agreed, saying they would pay once the procedure was done. But in the end, there was only enough money for the surgery. Afterward, they disappeared, leaving Jason stuck with a mountain of debt and no financial help. Jason had unwittingly donated his bone marrow for free, and Sasha, unable to stay in school after everyone found out she'd been deceived, dropped out not long after. 6 months later, I was sitting by the lake on campus, reading. The chirping of the birds beside me was like a lullaby. The warm sun had me drowsy, and just as my head tilted to the side, a big hand caught me before I could fall. I blinked sleepily and looked up, seeing a handsome young man standing there. He looked vaguely familiar, but I couldn't place him. I stared at him again. Leo. I gasped in surprise, instantly waking up from my drowsiness. My eyes widened as I looked at the young man in front of me. Leo slowly sat down next to me, a smile on his face. So, how are you adjusting to this school? I shook my head furiously. What are you doing here? You didn't come here to study too, did you? Wait, are you following me? Leo's cheeks flushed a visible shade of red. He furrowed his brow and lightly tapped my forehead. I won't say it out loud, but you already know the truth. I froze. My heart began to race faster and faster. I was only joking, but could it be true? Are you serious? My voice trembled as I spoke. Leo, holding up his student ID, mumbled, "This school is hard to get into, but fortunately, my dad knows the principal. If you had told me earlier, we could have studied abroad together." My brain was buzzing. Oh my God, even the smartest students have romance on their minds? But somehow, I didn't mind.